sound of yesterday. Barstools and Bandtalk, and memories live on. Barstools and Bandtalk with Dave and Sean.
Old habits die hard.
Yes.
I'm Dave.
I'm Sean.
This is Barstools and
Bandtalk, the complete maritime music bucket list. Welcome.
all that in a Costco muffin.
There you go.
Yeah.
So how do we keep doing it? We have another guest on tonight. A lot of people around here are going to know him. A lot of people in the South Shore are going to know him.
Yeah.
He had a lot of notoriety. What did he say? 2007.
2007 Canadian Idol.
Yeah, I've run into him over the course of different sorts of gigs. I actually saw him do a show at the Dartmouth Sportsplex for a hockey tournament one time. It was very cool. And I do believe, and we're going to cover this, I do believe he took vocal lessons from one talented and lovely Elise Besler.
Oh, go on.
True story. So we'll talk
world.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with this gentleman. Please welcome to Barstools and Bandtalk for the very first time, Dwight D'Eon.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you, brother?
What's up, brother?
I'm doing great.
So just before we get going here, you and I met. I don't know if you remember. You were doing a gig at the Sedma tournament. I was on that committee. It was at the Sportsplex, and we were chatting. Right. You used to take vocal lessons from Elise Besler, correct?
Yep, I did.
Wow, I did have that correct.
I'm going to say, how long ago was that? It's going to be probably 2005.
Wow.
Something like that. I'll have to ask Elise, actually. Yeah, she was a great vocal coach.
She, great gal. She could upgrade the husband project a little bit, but other than that,
so,
I played with Scott for like 17 years. Yeah. So Dwight, geez, bud. So long time catching up. As we said in the intro, a lot of people are going to know you, but just let's go back. You're from the Pubnico area, as you said. Played in a band with our buddy Tommy that's been on here. So just give us a little Cole's notes on Dwight D'Eon.
Yeah, so I guess musically speaking, it all started. I think I was 11 or 12. I started playing guitar, but and pretty much immediately I formed a band. Like right away. I just wanted to be in a band. All through high school, I had a band, and the band was called Never. The name was, the band was called Never. It went through a bunch of different iterations. Then that's about 99. Tommy joined the band, and about 2001, I moved to Halifax, and that's where the hard rock band that we had. That's when it really kind of started to move in the studio and recorded some songs and did some small tours around, and ended up moving 4,000 or 5,000 copies of the recording, just like literally just off stage. We had like a real grassroots following. It was kind of strange. And what I found even stranger is even to this day, we got like zero attention from the music associations, things like that. So it was kind of, it's not, no ill feelings, whatever you want to call it, towards that. But it's just like, we got no attention from them at all. We were just sort of this underground weird band but we go play gigs in small towns and 600 kids would show up.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
You were doing hard rock in the 2000s, brother, so you were kind of behind the 8 ball that way anyhow.
Yeah, we were real black sheep.
Well, and I mean, our scene is cool. I mean, it's cool now, but I mean, if you don't fit a certain genre, that first tier, if you're not like, what I call the rubber boot genre or the, that type of Celtic flair, you're typically, you're clawing your way around trying to move up. So I feel you. And I was in a band that moved to Toronto, and we got together the same week that Sloan did. So you can imagine how that went for us, because we were a rock band too, right?
Yeah.
So pretty tough.
Yeah.
So you guys played, and I know you did a bunch of shows. I said I saw some pictures, I believe, from the Palace. You guys did some shows at the Palace, and
we played the Palace before. That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. So where were you guys playing around here when you guys were kind of out there?
It's funny. We sort of were based out of Halifax, but this was kind of like our hub. We didn't really do much gigs around here. We played like places like the Greywood, the Gorse, Rookwood, the university things. We did a lot of our manager at the time, Rob Holden, with Vision Entertainment, he hooked us up with a lot of different gigs like that. But also, I wasn't in university. I never went to college, but we had a lot of friends who did. So we ended up getting pretty well connected with people in the student union associations, those kinds of things. So we got a lot of really nice gigs through those, those kinds of events. So the band, that's sort of how we did it. And I'm not an antisocial guy, I like people and that kind of thing, but I was never one to be sort of the social band guy. I didn't go out and watch all the other bands play or expect all the other bands to come and support my shows. It never occurred to me. So I always kind of did my own thing, and that was sort of how we did it. So we kind of built that name up, on our own steam just by ourselves, and having really great, I don't know if you want to call them groupies or not, but just like fans of the band, usually like girlfriends and stuff like that help push the name out there and through university. So it went really well. I mean, we did a whole bunch of Frosh Week stuff and all these things, and nobody else knew who we were, which is kind of cool.
And it was mainly original stuff, but what would it be based on? Like, did you do covers too? Like, just give me an idea about the style of music that it was.
I would say that, stylistically speaking, I don't want to say this the wrong way because it's not. I came from a very similar place to somebody like maybe Chad Kroeger came from, Nickelback.
Right.
But I never wanted to be Nickelback. That wasn't what it was. But they sort of broke out around the same time that we had this thing going on. So the influences are there. Matchbox Twenty was a huge influence for me. So a lot of the stuff that we did was sort of somewhere in that genre. It's like this. It's hard rock, some of it, but some of it's got a poppy songwriting thing to it too.
Right.
I get it.
I get you.
Yeah, and I don't know, the 90s for me were a little confusing because there's just, had the grunge movement, and then the grunge movement almost seemed to fizzle out, but then that second wave of the Pearl Jam-esque bands, like, your Creeds and those guys came. Yeah, you could tell everybody was influenced by Eddie Vedder at that point, right? Because that's kind of the next wave that came out.
Yeah, I never got big into Creed. Maybe some of the stuff early on when they first broke out, even like some of the early Nickelback I really liked, but once they started writing the same songs over and over again, it got a little old for me, but I always loved the sound of it, that hard rock kind of thing has always been in me. But I also love, I love all music, but more singer-songwritery stuff as well, mellow stuff. I never got big into indie rock until now.
Oh yeah?
The real sort of trash canny sort of sounding rootsy stuff. I don't know exactly what to call it, especially the Halifax is well known for. Nowadays,
so who do you
really love it?
Who do you listen to now? Like who's on your list, your iTunes list right now?
Well, right now, like one of the newer bands that I came across that I don't pay much attention to music these days that well, but it would be the Glorious Sons. I love that band.
Okay, yeah,
they're awesome. I just think that for a rock band out of Canada, they're one of the best out at this point. But otherwise, I'm just always poking around and trying to see what I can find. There's a cool kid from I think he's from Britain. What's he called? 10 Ton or something like that. He's got this very doo-wop 50s kind of thing, but it's indie rock, and he's got some really great music. Yeah, it's some cool songs.
Very nice.
Stuff like that. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same. I like what I like, and every so often I'll throw myself a curveball. There'll be something that I hear, and that like that Meghan Trainor tune that was out the last little while. Like, what an original type song! So many different sorts of things in one tune. And I actually read up on it, and the same fellow there that signed Pink. What's his name? I'll think of it in a second. But he was blown away by her age and how she was able to craft that at her age, and put it together. It was really cool. So, so you guys are putting away. So when you did and we'll talk about the Canadian Idol thing. When you did that, were you in that band at the same time? How did that shake out?
Yeah, that band was still going, and we were we were still working on new material at that point. So how Canadian Idol came about was I was working I was going to school. I just decided to literally goof off for a year, and I went to NSCC and took the recording arts program. So I was going to school, and I was working part-time at a local fitness center just to earn some extra cash. And I remember it well. It was like a long weekend. I can't remember exactly when it was. It was sometime maybe around Easter weekend or something like that, or sometime in the winter. I can't remember exactly, maybe March break or something. So the club was dead. There was nobody there. Sitting in the office, and the phone rings. And it's Adam Driscoll, my fiddle player, who's been with me since 2000, 2001. And he said, "You know what I want you to do, right?" I said, "What?" said, I want you to go down to the mall and try out for Canadian Idol tomorrow. Piss off, right? I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to do that. And then after I hung up the phone, I thought about it, and I don't know if it was just a combination of just being bored in this office, just sitting there by myself for an entire day. I said, worst case scenario, I'll meet some people, maybe get a trip to Toronto for a week or something just for fun. And,
right.
We'll see how that goes, right? But ended up being there for almost 4 months.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
a lot of fun, yeah.
So how did that go? Obviously they had to put you up and feed you and do all that good stuff, but was there whole, were you not able to tell people what was going on? And you kind of had to keep hush hush and sign all kinds of agreements. And
Yeah, big time, especially early on, because the way they do it is that the first rounds of tryouts and the what they call the Hell Week in Toronto and all that is all pre-taped, and then as the show airs, then after that you go live for the top 22 or 24 or whatever it was. I can't remember how many people were there, but so you're talking 200 people that make it to Toronto, whittled down to 24.
Right.
And I was the oldest on the show. I was 28, so I just made the cut for my age,
Oh,
and
right.
what was beneficial was the fact that I saw kind of what the game was. I was a lobster fisherman, so I'm used to working my tail off and not sleeping and this and that. And Hell Week, what they do is they put you through the gauntlet. You get no sleep. You're up all day. You got to try and maintain your voice. You got to learn a bunch of songs in no time at all. You're going to be up at 7:00 in the morning in the van or the bus or whatever they got to truck you down to the theater. Spend all day there to sing your little 5-minute, little song for that particular day. Then you wait around all day until 11:00 at night, and then they give you a list of songs. Here's your songs for tomorrow. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is going to be duets, so find a partner. Learn your song. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 8:00, right? So you can't go home and go to sleep. You got to go home or go to the hotel and learn some music and figure out how to sing with somebody you never sang with before and do a duet or a group number or something like that. So what it does is that they're training you for the rigors of the show. The show is intense. In 4 months, I think I had a day and a half off.
Wow.
It's just a whole process. So what they're trying to do is they're not just trying to find the people that can sing like super diva, great voice, but they look for people that can withstand the rigors of putting on this show. You can't be collapsing on stage.
No.
Live, to 4 million people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how that thing is designed.
And I would have had to think that you would have seen an awful lot of people, because and again, I've never watched an episode of American Idol. I've kind of zoomed in and out of Canadian Idol, but for me, Kelly Clarkson, I think she's amazing. Yeah. Carrie Underwood's amazing. There's been someone there that I'm going, man, they won't last, and sure enough, they don't. But I would assume that you saw an awful lot of people that, they sound pretty good, but all of a sudden the rigors are getting to them and their voices are going and they just can't handle it. Yeah,
the excitement is electric. So when you're there, it's been 13 years now, I think, or something like that, 12 years. I can't remember how long it's been. But the excitement is so palpable that some of the younger kids, they couldn't shut up all day long. They're singing and going, carrying on in groups of people hanging out in the gymnasium where they got us sitting down. And I'm there with my headphones on in the corner, just being quiet and sort of just trying to keep my stamina up because I know what was up.
Right.
I have to be able to sing tomorrow, and if I lose my voice, I'm screwed. And how many people are going, I'm sorry, I can't sing. That sort of deal, right? And it happened a lot. A lot of really, really great singers went home.
When you said you were 28, so you would have had some road capital built up playing with your band, and a lot of those folks probably, sang in them all, and you got a good voice, come on up. So
that's exactly,
did you find that was that advantageous to you?
Double-edged sword. Yes,
okay.
It helped me in terms of focus. I'm not a nervous guy. Never been on stage even. I don't get nervous on stage that much. So there's that part of it that's beneficial, but at the same time, it's kind of like a bad golf swing. When you start working with a real proper vocal coach and trying to get on this TV show, and when you're on the show, it's way different than playing a stage with big loud monitors blaring in your face. This is like TV. So there's hardly any monitors. You're like singing into a microphone, but the microphone can't be where you want it to be. The microphone has to be sort of down so they can see your face on the camera. And all these weird things are just goofy as heck, you know. And at that point, I never sang without a guitar in my hand. I even said it on the show. I said, it's kind of like skating without a hockey stick. It feels freaking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt to me. But I got over that. Again, it's all about just trying and being willing to just give it a shot. Why not? You know, it was so much fun. I can't even explain how much fun it was. But
with those kind of crafts, like I'm thinking, like if you're a lobster fisherman, say at that point, I mean, there's some big money to be made. I mean, what kind of compensation is there for? I mean, it's nice to put you up to a hotel and feed you, but I mean, if you're there for 4 months,
there was like a per diem sort of thing for a weekly kind of allowance, you know, nothing big, just enough to kind of cover some expenses back home and, you know, have a little bit of spending cash. But it's
I didn't know if you're going by like actress scale or if it was that kind of thing. Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly how much, you know, what the scales were for that.
Okay.
Sort of thing, but
I was curious with that.
You know, I'm not going to say number because just in case it's under some sort of NDA, but it's not a lot. It's
Canada too, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's sponsored by KD Cups, if I remember correctly.
It's something I don't know. Okay. With KD, we did Pringles. We had who else? There's so much like, you know, craft singles and all this.
Yeah.
The TV part I could live without. You know.
Refresh my memory. Refresh my memory. The hosts of that at that time were who?
So Farley Flex, Sash Jordan, Farley Flex, and Zach Werner. And Jake Gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Jake Gold. Yeah. And Sash Jordan's she's amazing. I had the opportunity to open for her a couple of times in Toronto, and what a powerhouse singer she is. She's
an incredible singer. Yeah, very talented.
Yeah. And were they nice to deal with now, Dwight? Were they good people? Were they kind of cool?
Oh yeah. The coolest one that was Zach. You know, he was the bad guy. Yeah, he was the bad guy on stage, but off stage is a big heart. You know. But they're all really nice, really professional. Yeah.
I don't remember too. Who was the Ryan Seacrest of that deal?
Was what's his name? Ben.
Ben Mulrooney.
Ben Mulrooney, yeah.
Oh, punchable face Ben Mulrooney. Right on.
He's a good guy.
Landed on his feet though.
Yeah, I like Ben. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He landed on his feet.
Yeah.
And his sister's got another reality TV show, I guess. There.
I don't watch TV, so I have no idea.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm a big Netflix guy and big on YouTube. So anyway, so you did that, and then you did pretty well on that show. You made your way up and you clawed your way up. Where did you end up?
Top 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So Carly Rae Jepsen was on that year as well. She was 3rd, and I was 4th. Yeah. And Brian Miller was the winner that year.
Okay. Has he done anything since, or?
He's still working. Yeah, he was down in Nashville for a while. He's back now, and
right on.
I still keep in touch with him a little bit, you know, here and there. Call him on the phone once in a while or send him a text something. But
you'd have to make friends on a show like that. You'd have to build some lifelong friendships for sure.
Oh, there's some people I haven't seen since the show, but still, you know, to this day, they're still some of my best friends.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I remember, was it Nashville Star when George Canyon was on it? And I must confess, I watched the last one when he was in the final because a guy that I was playing with had played with him before in Pictou County. Yeah. And it was pretty cool. And it was disappointing when he didn't win. But again, he landed on his feet because he's had a great career. I don't know. I think maybe sometimes winning is great, but maybe not winning might be even better. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I think so. Definitely. When you're the winner, then you've been bought, you know. So at least for the term of the contract, which I think was a 1-year recording contract, whatever it was, with an option for renewal with Sony. I mean, I have a copy of the contract here somewhere. We all signed it at one point in the show, but mine never got because I never won. You know, the option was never taken. But they also had the option to sign whoever they wanted to. But so there's a downside there, but at the same time, in Canada, there's not as much opportunity as there would be maybe in the US.
Yeah.
Sure. You know, and what as mature and as old as I was in that show, one thing I took for granted is that I thought I was a music star, but I wasn't. I was a TV star.
Yeah, fair enough.
That realization came after that one there. That realization came a little bit afterwards. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I'm a TV star, so they want to see me in a parade, but they won't come see me in concert.
Yeah. And I was
take the picture, you know.
And I was going to ask you, so your top 4, and they announced the top 3. So did they take you and Carly Rae Jepsen and here's the door, and you go out the door and you're in an alleyway and they slam it shut, and that's like,
No.
you know what I mean?
No. So at that point, yeah. So I mean, when you get voted off the show, it's just the next day you're doing a whole blitz of media. So every radio station across the country wants to talk to you now that you're off the show and this and that. So it's a full day of that. Then the finale was coming up because I was top 4, so I only came home for about 5 days. So I flew home 5 days, had a little party with my friends, and then got back on the plane, went back for 2 weeks to get ready for the finale.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was Insight Productions that handled the whole show under CTV, and those people were just amazing to work with. Like they're just everybody. Wow. They were awesome, right up to the CEO of the company, John Brunton, and some others. They were just like approachable. You could talk to them about anything, and they were as professional as can be. There were no arseholes on that show.
That's really cool to hear.
Yeah,
that surprises me, actually.
Yeah.
It only ran for what, 3 years or 4 years?
6, I think it did in
total. Oh, really? 6?
Oh, yeah, 5 or 6, something like that.
Gary Beals did well in the first season. He came in
Yeah.
second in the first.
Yeah.
In the second. Now, what's his name there? He get in trouble there recently. Jacob Hodgley there.
Hogard, yeah. He's quite the type, that one. We did a few shows with them, one in Halifax here when they came in, and I mean, he's just a rock star punk kid, he's talented and this and that, but you could tell he was just totally riding that wave and just having a good time. He's trying to, just cause trouble to cause trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I get a story that I won't tell, but I was in a band that was playing Moncton, and we were on the bill with them. They were the top bill, and they tried to do the old, they read one too many Motley Crue stories and were trying to be cool. And
exactly,
one of the people that were working at the Coliseum almost put his head through a wall. It was kind of funny. But we'll just leave it. We'll leave it be. So you're done that. I mean, I know. So now I know you're playing with the Halifax Pier Boys because my good buddy Barry Hughes, he subs in with you guys every now and again.
Yeah.
So from the time you did the show till now, when I ran into you, what have you been doing? I know you've been busy because your name comes up all the time.
Yeah. So what I did after the show was that I went to the studio in the Sound Market and spent about 8 months in there writing and recording. So I did the whole thing myself, the entire album myself, produced it all because I was just fresh out of recording arts and had a good relationship with Terry Pulliam, the owner of Sound Market.
Nice.
So at that point, he was still teaching at NSCC, and his assistant that was working at the studio had quit or left to do something else. So yeah, nobody to kind of watch the shop. So he said, "Here's the keys. Give me $1,000 a month or whatever the deal was. I can't remember exactly what the amount was. It wasn't much, and you can have the run of the place and do what you want with it. And then when some work comes in, just do the work for me." Okay. So that was insanely generous on his part, and I'm like forever indebted to him because I had a chance to really mess around with some nice gear. I at that point I had a bit of a budget to play with, so I'd go to Long McQuaid and rent some deluxe sort of preamps and things and just mess around and put together an album that I'm still proud of at this point.
Excellent.
And then after that, I think I got a little burned out musically. We sort of scaled the band back into a duo, me and Adam doing a duo thing to kind of keep it going, playing the pubs, during Nelly's, places like that a lot. And then I put together another band called Lacewood, which is an original kind of pop country sort of thing. It's more Lana Grant's band than mine. It was her idea, but it's me and her and Christy and Eddie.
Oh, I know that.
Involved in that one, yeah. So it's a great band. We've written a lot of great songs, and I've done quite a bit of co-writing with some different artists. Lenny Gallant. I've written with who else? Paul Gigliotti, the lead singer for a band called Wave. They had some big hits there in the late '90s. Going to California, gonna live.
Oh yeah.
So
great tune.
Him and I wrote some tunes together. Who else? Jimmy Rankin co-wrote and a song that he did with Serena Ryder. Who else? There's a few out there that I've written with, and I still write a lot of songs myself. It's one of the things about music that I really love the most is the writing part. And even at this point now, with Halifax Pier, now I'm kind of working as a working musician, just to pay the mortgage and put some food on the table. But I'm this COVID-19 lockdown thing has been kind of a cool thing because I haven't been on stage for months, and it's kind of like it's putting me back. I'm getting my recording rig set up again at home. I want to start working on that kind of stuff again, and I don't know. It's a lot of fun. you know. But the dream of the rock stardom that got out of me after Canadian Idol. It's just like I don't really want that. I don't want that. There's things that come along with that sort of fame and notoriety that I hadn't really signed up for. Maybe had I made it on my own terms the whole way, but going on a TV show, then it's more of you're dealing with a lot of like little kids and parades and fireworks, all these things, and I'm just I'm not into that. It's not my deal, you know. So it has its own set of, you know, careful what you wish for kind of deal, right? And you can't go out and do anything. Everybody's kind of watching your every move.
Yeah. You live in a glass house for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, but I mean, at the same time, my ego's in check. I've never been one to have an overly inflated ego, at least at this point in my life.
You're a publico boy. Come on now.
Maybe when I was 20 years old, I had a bit of a bit of an attitude, but at this point, I've grown the crap out of that, you know.
I hear you. And I mean, I've talked to people and we've talked about it. Like, I love playing. You know, we'll go to Fredericton to play and we'll do that. Yeah. The part for me in the music business that I never actually liked a whole lot was to travel. I don't sleep well in hotels. I sleep crappy. And you know, if you're not willing to travel, it's going to be pretty hard to go for a music career, right?
Yeah, so. I love to travel. I love it. I mean, before Idol, like we had a house and I just come home and throw my suitcase on the floor of my bedroom, live out of it. Then a few days later, zip it up and off I went again. It was just, and that's how I lived. And even now, wife and kids and a bigger house and all this stuff, I kind of live that way. In a lot
I know
of
what you mean.
She's always like, "Why don't you just put your clothes away?" I
could get a call. I could get a call. Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah. So
but
I mean,
now when you go, it's like a vacation.
Yeah, it is now.
Right.
But I don't like to be away for too much at this point, and that was the other thing. I kind of wanted a family and to settle down a bit more. So that dream, or whatever you want to call it, is, if it ever was a dream, I'm not sure it really ever was, is not something that's really on my radar. I'd rather get back to songwriting, recording in my own music. Yeah. And I'll keep doing the cover gigs for as long as I want to. But this break's given me some perspective, and I suspect that I'll peel back in the next few years, I think, and start doing other things. I think it's time.
So what kind of stuff are you writing now then, Dwight? Like, what kind of style are you writing in?
Pop rock is probably the style that I'm into the most. But right now I'm interested in kind of rekindling the Never stuff again.
Okay.
Just for my own enjoyment. Yeah. Doing not hard, heavy stuff, but like radio-friendly hard rock that's not really out there anymore. And if it is out there, it's kind of been done to death. And so I'm exploring some ideas about how to kind of do it in a different way to make it maybe a bit fresh sounding, even just for myself.
Exactly.
You know, and if somebody else enjoys it, well, that's cool too. But you know, there's no money in it anymore. Before Canadian Idol, I sold 5,000 copies of a CD and made some good money. After Canadian Idol, I sold 500. You know,
wow.
Like it's just it doesn't sell anymore that way. So I'd rather just kind of spend some time here in my studio, doing my own thing and put it together and put it out there. If somebody likes it, cool. If they don't like it, that's cool. You know.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really hard to explain to people. I mean, you know, as musicians, we spend such a long time trying to actually figure out what the heck we're doing. Yeah. And then you have, you know, maybe a career, you play, and then when it kind of backs off and you kind of go into that, you know, I liken it to the pickup hockey sort of thing where, you know, you're probably still making money, having fun, but it's not like a career. Yeah. But people have a hard time, you know, it's hard to explain to them why you don't ever want to just stop, and they don't understand it. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to stop, but I don't really want to be going downtown or traveling every weekend to do cover gigs.
Right.
For much longer. This break has definitely made me realize that. You know, I feel healthier and happier than I've felt in a long time because I'm getting good sleep. Nice. You know, on a regular schedule. I mean, I like to sleep, but I'm also an early morning guy. That's kind of why we were trying to schedule these meetings, and that's not going to work. I'm usually in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Now I get up at 3:30 in the morning.
3:30. Wow.
Yeah. I got little kids, so I need to have my alone time to myself and each few hours.
I remember that. How old are your kids?
7, 5, and 3.
Oh, God love you.
Yeah. So, but you know, so that's kind of where I'm at with this. But I mean, and the industry itself has changed quite a bit. You know, I don't think it's just my age at this point. You know, things are different. There's not as many venues to play. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but definitely it's not.
I think
what it used to be. You know.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. One of the things that I'm, you know, and you know, I grew up. I keep saying, you know, if I'm on satellite radio, channel 39, hair metal, right, Hair Nation. I mean, that's my, you know, the crew and all that. So there's kind of a, you get these monsters of rock crews, and you're getting people whose parents used to listen to that, we'll be playing the Ale House and somebody will ask for a Whitesnake tune and they're like all 20 years old. So there's a resurgence that's going on.
Yeah,
so
I see that happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
But
Everything
the days of exactly. That's exactly it. And I think we're in a cycle, and it's been a 7, 8, maybe 9-year cycle where that genre of music just really seems to be hanging on, and it's kind of cool. And to your point, all these guys now, the Warrant guys are weekend warriors, man. They fly out to a gig Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're home Sunday, right? That's what they do now. They don't tour anymore, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing. So, for me, it's like I'm not banking on the fact that there's going to be this resurgence in this sort of this 80s or 90s metal rock kind of thing. But at the same time, that's kind of the music I'm missing. And even for me, I mean, guitar playing wise, I'm no slouch as a guitar player, but they're a dime a dozen. And so what I've been doing for the past couple of years now, I'm still working on is I'm trying to develop my vocal range and my vocal technique. So I've been doing more of the bel canto thing. So I'm picking up more like Steven Tyler and Sebastian Bach kind of stuff, and teaching myself how to sing that stuff properly, correctly, so I can actually go out and do that. So maybe at some point, just get a cover band together.
I don't think they did it correctly, did they? I don't think those guys did that correctly.
That's the thing, right? And I'm just sort of one of those crazy freaks that I'm self-aware enough in terms of technique, and I've learned enough over the years that I'm teaching myself how to sing the way those guys sing.
Wow.
So the trick is that I can hit the notes and I get the stamina to do those songs, but my tone sounds like shit at this point. The tone aspect of that sound, that style of singing, takes a long time to develop. So I'm sort of behind the scenes reworking this stuff, and I might do some covers of a few like Aerosmith songs and put them out there just for the hell of it.
I love to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question for you now: is there anything that folks? We have a pretty big crowd on this show here now. That we're somewhat of a big deal. Is there something that we can promote for you? Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I really am. Is there something that we can help you promote at all? Is there a website they can go to, or?
No, I'm like the world's worst promoter. I'm just.
Do you get any CDs left in the back of your trunk at all?
They're under my bed. They're under my bed. They're not in the trunk anymore.
In the suitcase. They're in the suitcase.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You're not alone there, because some of the guys that we talked to that were, maybe 10 years ahead of Dave and I, it's amazing the memorabilia they have. I didn't even have a freaking CD from the band that I was in that, got signed to a freaking record deal. Like I have nothing. Like
I wish.
Maybe a couple pictures.
Yeah, I wish. If you go on my Facebook, I've got a few pictures on my profile. I don't take pictures. I'm not a selfie guy. I don't forget. I'm one of those guys that can learn a song. I'll never forget the lyrics ever. Oh, wow. My memory is that good, so I don't take pictures of things. I can just remember it. I remember exactly what was going on. So I don't take pictures for my own memory. But now I regret it because I don't have any way of documenting some of the cool things that we've done. And for a long time, I never had guys in the band that were like that either. Right.
Yeah.
So it's.
And that's part of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
We're kind of cataloging as we go. Like we didn't intend to do that, but it's we don't know what the hell we're doing, really, Dwight. We're just having fun, and at the same time, like it's a little bit of history, it's a little bit of current stuff, it's a little bit of future stuff. We're trying to explore many new different genres, and we're just trying to represent maritime music. It's kind of what our plan was.
And are you guys still working pretty full time, Sean? I know you are.
Yeah, I'm. Dave works. He works in the car industry, and I manage a traffic control company.
Okay.
So it's from. Well, typically we get started in April, but because of all the stuff that happened, it was a little later. Right. But I'll be full out till about December, and then from January till about end of March, it'll be a little dead. But yeah.
And how many gigs you guys?
It's always on the go.
And how many gigs are you guys doing right now? Typically, is it every weekend kind of thing?
So the frequency, we were on track to do close to 80 shows this year.
Yeah.
Kyle likes to. He does some stuff like solo stuff. He likes to do that. Yeah. So we're probably playing every second weekend type thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great because my job is somewhat flexible sometimes. So if I have to go away, I can put some work into, do some work stuff as well. So
it's ironic because actually just probably the week before this COVID shit broke out, Sean and I, we have another two guys that we're talking with. We're just putting together a song list to work on a part-time project. Sean is available every other weekend, so we either going to do a 3-piece and 4-piece, whatever we could. So we're just putting together song lists for that, and there it was gone, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Last year I did 142 gigs, and this year I was probably
Wow.
on track to do 150 or more.
wow.
But that's with Halifax Pier, with Lacewood, with my doing solo acoustic gigs or doing duo stuff with Adam. You know, so
when you were with Halifax Piers, that's with Blaine and Glenn too, or no?
no, Blaine is I'm the one that replaced Blaine for the most part.
Okay.
So he subs in when I can't make it for some of their gigs.
Okay.
So it's me and Glenn and Mike Fugier.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
for the most
There you
part, yeah. And then Barry Hughes is sitting with us, and other drummers are sitting with us as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're mostly
Barry's
mostly gigs.
Yeah, and Barry's. I mean, he's a great guy. Every time I go to Fredericton, he usually lets me use his kit and stuff like that. It's actually, we were supposed to play there for St. Paddy's Day, and he sent me the text on the Monday afternoon because we were going to go up. Lee Fleming Smith, who plays with us, it was his birthday that night, so we are going to go and have a little fun on his birthday. And Barry sent me I think it was like 8:00 on Monday. Yeah, we're shut down. We're so close, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that's how the live streaming thing started. I just got off. We just got back from Fredericton that weekend. I think it was. Was that where we were? I think we were in at Dolan's, and I just got back on the Sunday, and I said I have a bad feeling about St. Paddy's Day. Was it Monday or Tuesday? I can't remember. It was a Monday or something. And I said, well, to hell with this. I'm going to put something on Facebook, and I'm going to do a live stream. I've never done it before, and I'll try it. And unfortunately,
Awesome.
I pressed the wrong button, so I never saved the performance. But, and then within, about 2 or 3 weeks, everybody's live streaming. So at that point, I kind of backed off. It's too much competition.
Well, it was funny, Dwight, because Dave and I, the Saturday night, so the last show I played was the Thursday before that weekend. Played at Mount St. Vincent. Dave and I went out Saturday night. We went to Big Leagues in Cole Harbor, and it was packed. And I mean, like, it was just like party like it's 1999. And everybody's saying, I wonder what's going to happen. Right? And then, boom, Monday she was all done. Now, Dave and I went downtown Friday night, and depending upon how you feel about it, people were minding the rules, but those bars were doing okay for what they were allowed to do. Like there was people out.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, it was refreshing just to see the streets alive again, because I've been walking around with my cameras like this is where this bar used to be, and this bar is still open, I think, and and it's just so desolate, and it's like I don't know, it's like some kind of a horror movie. It's like the after effect of a Holocaust or something, like walking around the streets. So it's nice to hear people laughing and smiling, and it's it's a sign that better things are around the corner, right? That's kind of
I got a concern about probably a second wave will probably put things back to a standstill for a little while. It's hard to tell what's going to happen, but hopefully it doesn't happen. For me, I don't know. I've got a very business sort of mind, entrepreneurial mind. I mean, one thing I never mentioned was that, like, somewhere between Canadian Idol and now, I ended up buying a fitness center and ran that for about 5 years as well. So I kind of, at that point, I really ducked out of music, outside of a few gigs here and there. I really ducked out of music for a little while. But now I'm looking at it going, well, what's the next step here? Is this going to be a permanent change to the industry or not? I don't know.
Right.
And where's my place? Where's everybody's place in this? Is this going to be an issue? I don't know yet.
Do you still do the fitness center? Are you still involved in that?
No, we shut it down.
Okay.
Yeah, we shut it down.
I think, I think the live stream, and it's a good thing it's a good thing you didn't have that with all that. Holy smokes, if you were paying rent on something, like what a nightmare that would be, right?
So, the rent there I was paying was, literally a small house a year in rent, so it was costing me a fortune. So,
I think what's going to happen, and we talked about this a lot on the show. I think live streaming's here to stay. I think guys are going to go out and play. They're going to play the bars, and then when they're off, they're going to live stream. And I think that's going to be something, that's going to be a viable option for people to, to generate some revenue, right?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. When the lockdown first happened, it was a bit of a novelty, so people were tuning in. But now I'm back to questioning how long people can pay attention.
That's
well,
a good point.
So, we're immediate gratification society, and you want everything now. You don't wait for it. You don't look in your Funk and Waggles anymore. You Google it. It's like everything happens right away. So I mean, it's hard to say, but there's a lot of folks who it's like we always talk about, get that itch in their skin that they have to perform, and some folks are out there have to listen, and they want to listen, and we're seeing that crowd that wants live music again. So somehow we're going to get it to them. I'm not sure how it's going to be. Listen, Dwight, we're almost out of time. Is anybody you want to give a little shout out to at all, or?
No, to anybody listening right now. I mean, I don't find if I had anything interesting to say or not, but Thanks for having me on. It's nice to be social with some people. It's not my kids and my wife. You know, I love them.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know, it's
Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh, my
and you know
allowance.
what, Dwight,
I'd like to have my
you're,
allowance, please, Dad.
yeah.
You're helping us connect the dots here, because I mean, there's kind of I was in Toronto from '93 till 2000, and I mean, Dave wasn't playing that much, and so you're connecting a piece of that puzzle for us,
Yeah.
which is great, because we weren't around, or we weren't really doing much when you were out there. So it's very cool, and it's nice, another nice little piece of the puzzle.
I love the music scene here in Halifax. I absolutely love it. I mean, and there's not anybody hardly out there that I can think of that in any of the bands that I've met that's like an arsehole. Everybody's cool.
Yeah.
And I've never been one to think about things as competition. It's just we're all like friends, even if we haven't really met much in person. It's like this. The scene here is amazing.
It's a culture, it's a community, it's like a family. And I say that, it sounds kind of hokey and whatever, but we kind of feel that way, you know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to promote, I guess, really. So
yeah, it's really cool. I think so. I'm hoping that all the bars survive this sort of the slowdown here, and the venues stay, so we can keep doing what we're doing. And like everybody else, I'm just kind of wondering what the next step is, what I'm going to do. I mean, I know, like I said, personally, I don't foresee me doing this for much longer. Maybe a few more years. I'll see. Again, that might change. Because I do enjoy it, but at the same time, this break has been a little eye-opening for me in terms of at least having one thing to do every day, not juggle early morning kids and late night gigs.
Yeah.
Well, I hear you, brother.
That's what happened. Yeah, the mid '90s to mid 2000s, or late 2000s. That's what happened with me for sure. But listen, we're looking forward to anything you post. If you post some stuff, I'd love to hear some of your versions of Aerosmith tunes. That would be awesome. I'd love to hear that.
I'm working on doing a full, completely accurate sort of reproduction of "Crying" off their
nice
album. Yeah,
nice.
So it's a hard song to sing, so it comes down to the tone. Like hit the notes, no problem, but the tone sounds like crap.
Well, Steven Tyler's got something that is hard to replicate, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's called a heroin addiction. Don't do it.
No, we talked about it. It's like, trying to play drums like Don Henley. Like Don Henley doesn't play anything technically brilliant, but you sit down and try to play like Don Henley, it's really tough.
They have a feel and a swagger that you just can't recreate that well.
He's got he's got that blues thing. You're right.
Yeah,
that's so.
And I might do a cover of that. I might do a cover of like a Skid Row song or something. Again, I'm just trying to do stuff to challenge myself vocally. I mean, I can sing just about anything. My range is like D1 up to like B or C5. It's some sort of stupid range like that. Like my range is quite high or quite wide.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can sing just about anything, but some stuff, the higher end stuff like this, I can't. My tone is just not there yet. I'm working on it, but give me another year of exercise.
So anybody that's now watch out for Halifax Pier. And do you still do the duo or not? I'm pretty sure I saw the cover painting with the duo one time.
Yeah, we do the duo for quite a bit of gigs still, and that's and Lacewood does a few gigs as well. So
who's in that now? Who's the duo? You and who?
Me and Adam Driscoll. He's a fiddle player. Yeah.
Right.
So we've been together for 20 years now.
Awesome. All right, boys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, man. It's great seeing you again, and we'll have to grab a beer when everything opens back up.
For sure.
Absolutely. All right, man.
All right, man.
Well,
Cheers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right.